Lisa.
I'm Patty.
And we are
Efecto podcast.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back.
Episode 32.
Yes.
I'm like, shit. Well, episode 32.
Yes. Thank you for
Tuning
watching. Yeah. Tuning in, listening, wherever you're at. If you're on your way to work, have a great day. If you're running errands, have a great day. Whatever you're doing,
You're watching
have a
us on
great day.
YouTube while you're cleaning.
Yes.
Have a great day.
No, literally, just have a great day.
Yeah.
But we're just talking because we're in LA and today the weather is like gloomy.
Perfect.
Oh, it's so nice. Like I'm wearing a crew neck, you're wearing a flannel. It's like we have our Starbucks.
Yeah.
Have matcha.
My pumpkin cream cold brew. Well, side note, I'm like, since I mentioned pumpkin cream cold brew, little ASMR. Since I mentioned that, is anyone else like this every year? The pumpkin cream cold brew, it tastes different.
Really?
It's so annoying. The first day, bomb. A few other times, I'm like, usually on the weekends I'll treat myself to one because I've been trying to like stay away from that, and I'm like, so disappointed today.
But is it like the
Wasn't that
barista
great?
or?
I don't know, but if you guys are thinking the same, let us know. Because
Yeah, I've never. Can I try it? I've never tried.
yeah,
I
it's
like
strong.
I
It's
like
strong.
the pumpkin spice.
It's like not sweet at all.
latte.
So it's like not sweet at all. The only time it's sweet is when you have the cold foam on top.
Oh no! See, this is good.
Yeah.
It doesn't even taste like pumpkin.
No, yeah. So I like that,
Yeah.
but the liquid will always taste the same, but the cold foam, that's what
Oh.
makes it, and it's just not the same.
Bitch, literally when they give it to you, take a sip, and if it doesn't taste it, be like, can I just
Yeah.
like literally scrape the fucking cold foam off and redo it?
One of my friends started doing the cold foam on her own because she's like, I'm like, I might just have to do that.
Bitch,
Because
at that point, make the whole fucking
I
coffee at home.
know.
Like,
I know, but I do love their cold brew. Like cold brew
No,
is
yeah.
just like my go-to there. But I'm like, oh, but yeah. Anyways,
anyways,
weather's amazing.
yes, so good, and it was drizzling.
Yeah.
Like this morning
Yeah.
when I left my house, it was drizzling a little bit, and then when we came out of our class, it was drizzling, and then when I got here, I was like, oh shit! Like I had to clean off like the
The
windshield.
windshield.
Okay, let's jump into catching up because something happened this morning and I barely realized. I noticed something once I was on my way here.
Okay, so you go first.
Okay, so I went to Soul Cycle this morning with Sophia and Daniela, and it was really good. It was with Dahlia. Amazing, 10 out of 10 at Soul Cycle Manhattan Beach. So good. So good. And we also went last night because it was her and Alba. So two Latina instructors, and it's Hispanic Heritage Month. So happy Hispanic Heritage Month. And so
And
we did.
Mexican Independence Day.
Yes. Que viva la raza. Do a grito.
Oh God. No, thank you.
So whatever. We went there. Came. So I drove this morning. So whatever, we left our class. So cute. Like she had conchita, like pan
I
dulce
saw that. Yeah.
and cafe. So cute. Whatever. Got home, ready. Here. When I was getting into my car, I noticed that there was a piece of tape on like the door hinge
The
of my
hell?
car, and it had an R on it. And I literally looked at it and I was like,
Scary.
I'm like, this is like shit you see on the internet of
Yeah,
like human trafficking. And I was like, obviously I didn't notice it when I was at Soul Cycle, and I'm pretty sure no one put it on my car when it was in my driveway. So I'm like, that's the only place I was at.
Was it? You don't think it was there yesterday?
No, it wasn't, because it wasn't there when I got in the car this morning. Like when I was on my way, I was like,
Oh, that's
what the
weird.
fuck is? I literally saw it, and I literally was like, I don't have time for this, and just ripped it off and threw it away. But I was like,
Yeah. Even when you rip it off, you gotta be careful because they could put like.
oh yeah, yeah. But I literally just like ripped it off, threw it away, and I was,
Yeah.
and first thing I did, I was like hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
And then I came here.
Oh, that's weird.
Passes out.
Yeah, that's the first thing I'm like, bitch, you touched it. I'm like,
It's not even like you with the gasolina.
No, I know. Even like, I'm like, I would have been like, okay, let me grab like a paper or something. But
Which
yeah,
I literally was like,
even with a nail slick or something.
I just fucking ripped that shit off. But that was
Yeah.
literally today, and I was like,
that's scary.
are you fucking kidding
That
me?
oh my god, that just reminded me. An old friend of mine. She's like, yeah. So an old friend of mine. There was someone like putting a rose in her like on her car, like in like the windshield or whatever, every single night. And then left her like a letter, and it just got super creepy. And right now, it just reminded me of that. I haven't thought of that in forever. I'm like,
That's
like imagine
scary.
that's just scary. Like I'm like, oh,
I always think about that shit. Like when well, obviously on TikTok, I see so many things. Like people are putting
Yeah.
lanyards on like your door handle.
yeah,
They tie, especially when it rains,
like
they tie your windshields
Yeah.
together so that you're like stuck there.
Mm-mm.
No, fuck that.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it was just a one-off in a way.
Yeah. But I'm like the R.
Yeah,
I
like,
did
what
park
does
in
that mean?
reverse, so I'm like, but I'm like, even then, I'm like, what the fuck would an R mean?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
But that
weird.
was this morning. But other than that, this week, it was just work. The first half of my week, really good. Like Thursday, like Wednesday, end of day, Thursday, really tough. Like, I don't know. I felt off. I sent you a TikTok.
I saw them all today.
And I literally was like,
Yeah.
oh my fucking gosh, because I went from having a really good week,
And then just
not doubting myself, anything, just like with work, like just trying whatever, putting myself out there. And then I woke up with so much anxiety on Thursday. I went to the gym in the morning, and usually after my workouts, I feel better, and I was still anxious. And then I had like a 4-hour meeting, didn't feel great about it. I don't know what it was. And then at the end of the day, I see that fucking TikTok, and I was like,
those are the, yeah.
and I usually don't feed into it,
Yeah.
but I was like,
It's conveniently enough for like the freaking TikTok. It always comes out like
Yeah.
the moment that you're feeling that way.
yeah,
It's just
and I was
weird.
just like, ugh. But
Yeah.
Friday was a good day with work.
Wear your pulsera.
Oh yeah, I have my Virgencita.
Yeah.
The one that your mom got me from Mexico.
Mhm.
Yesterday was good. We went to happy hour. Guys, we're gonna have some. You should have put the mic.
I know my stomach growled really good.
She wants to
loud,
say
guys.
hello.
I know.
I'm excited because we're gonna after happy hour yesterday, we're gonna have some guests. I'm so excited.
Yeah, those are gonna be good.
Yeah. And yeah, I already told you about what today, so your turn.
I know. I'm like, oh,
Next.
but I'm like, what did I do this week? This week, honestly, guys, it freaking like it's like I closed my eyes and I blinked and it was like the weekend. It's been crazy. As you guys will know by this episode, I got a promotion. So it's like transition week. So it was very, very nice. One, very emotional. Like I was like, oh my God. Like my team surprised me with like the cutest thing on like our last like all hands like meeting. Well, I guess our last like staff meeting. Super cute. A lot of our team that is from out of town was in town. So it just kind of like worked out. So that was so much fun, and they just like it was just so nice to see that they had like flowers for me, champagne. My boss had like 16 bottles of wine for everyone. Like our team that's usually not in town, they're like, oh no, we're moving to LA. Like what? Like this is crazy. And they like so some of our other members from our team are still like outside of like LA. So they were on teams and they had like they just surprised me with like a background. Everyone was just matching. The background matched my current role. So it was just super cute. And yeah, so that happened on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday night I had team bonding at the Dodger game with my current team.
Your new
so
team.
yeah, my new team. So that was really, really fun. It was a fun time. It was nice to be with them outside of work. And it was I was a little anxious because it was my first time interacting with them outside of work, like without it being, like just brief. And then so I was like, oh my gosh, like it was just weird at the beginning. But afterwards it was so much fun and we're like very, very alike. So I like that. And then one of my friends that I'm generally friends with her outside of work, like she was there too. So it just kind of like eased things out. And then it just ended up being very, very nice night. Everyone's super excited. So it made me more excited. And then, yeah, after that, it's just been like back to back, like just transitioning. Like it's crazy. And
Was it
then
yesterday or Thursday when you?
Thursday, my first day. Oh my god, guys! Again, like I'm transitioning, but that was like technically my first day. So I'm like upstairs moving my desk. So I got to the office a little bit early. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have some time, but I know I had a meeting at 9, so I was like, okay, I should be okay though. And then whatever, I sit down for the meeting at 9. I am back to back to back until like 4:30. I was like, oh my
And
god.
it was day one.
It was day one, and it was like a lot of like obviously a lot of information to take, but luckily like I'm already familiar with like a lot of those things, and like so it was like okay, that's at least that, because my brain was gonna be like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
Mood.
Like I was like, oh my god. Whatever. Finally, like 4:30 hits, I run down. I'm like, I need my keyboard to like actually go through my emails. I see my inbox and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. And it's like everyone from my everyone reaching out to me for my previous role. So it's all of those, me sending it to my backfill, and then my current role, everyone adding me like, welcome Melissa, and then it's like all of this information. I'm like, okay, this is this, this is this. So I just kind of had to like go through the emails, read them, like see where we're at with that, because I mean, regardless if you're new now, you got to know like, okay, this is what's happening, this is the status, whatever it is. So I took the rest of the day to go through all of my inbox, go through that, clear everything out. Then I finally set up my desk, did the whole thing. So I left the office at like 7:30.
Bro.
I got on the freeway. I was like, okay, I'm like the only thing I was like, all right, it's okay. There's gonna be no traffic. I get on the freeway, so much fucking traffic. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything. I get home at maybe like 8:45. Finally, I eat and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I eat, I shower, and I go to sleep. And then yesterday, Fridays, like it's usually a little bit less hectic. Nope. It was like again back to back to back until like 3. No, what time did I call you? Like
It was
2:43?
It was like 3 because I was getting ready for my class.
Yeah, like until like 3 I was like, "Oh
Bitch,
my gosh."
I'm fucking dead because we always text each other in the mornings. And I texted her like, "Morning, like have a great day, whatever." And I got really busy. And in the middle of the day, I was like, this bitch hasn't texted me. What the fuck?
I was
No, and then I get a phone call from her. And I'm like, hello. She's like, bitch.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, I've been back to back to back. And I started fucking laughing. I'm like, bitch, it's day 2.
No, I wake up. I'm like, okay, I do my morning routine. I'm like gonna grab my coffee. One of our uncles came to pick something up, and after that, I had to like I looked at his freaking clock in the car. I ran. I was like, my meeting, and then luckily I had my coffee ready. I like grabbed it, sat down. I didn't get back up until like later that day. I was like, oh my god. And I started interviewing. So it was my first time doing that. It was a little nerve-wracking, but I mean, it's good to have that exposure. But I was just like, oh my god, like this is just weird. But yeah,
to
that
clarify,
was different.
she is like
interviewing
the candidates.
Yeah. So that happened, but yeah. Besides like work, that's all that's happened to me this
But you had
week.
something exciting happen at work. You don't have to like
Yeah,
go into
I had-
detail, but
I
you
had-
could like share that.
So I had something like exciting happen. Like it's been hectic.
Day 2, guys.
Yeah.
She's only been in this role for 2 fucking days. I've only been here for 2 fucking days.
I'm like,
She's fucking trying.
Yeah, I know, I'm fucking trying, okay? But no, it's been hectic, but
Ay,
I
sí,
already like love it. Like this is genuinely what I've been looking for and itching for. This is what I love. So just to like be in those conversations and have visibility to everything was just super, super interesting and just made me that much more excited. But yesterday we had a call. And I mean, obviously, like I have a boutique, like I love fashion and just like that world. So my world currently, and then just fashion and bringing that together, like that is like I love it. So we're in those calls, and within that call I kind of just stayed a little bit quiet, but as soon as we log out of this certain call, we regrouped, like, just internally, like, three of us, and we were just kind of like, oh my gosh, like, recapping everything. And they were like trying to come up with different like ideas. And then these ideas are marketing campaigns, guys, and just like collabs. So they're going through those ideas. I'm over here like, and then right away, like, one of my managers, she's like, Melissa, like, I need, like, tell me, does this suck? Like, and I was like, a little bit. And she's like, no, that's what I need. And the other person was just like, yes, like, finally. She's like, see, I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't know, and whatever. So, they're talking, and one of my coworkers mentioned something, and immediately I started like boom, 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 like all these like green flags and just like freaking fireworks. But I wait until the call ends, and then I like regroup just like on my own again with my manager. And I tell her, I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, this person mentioned this, and immediately I started thinking this. She's like so mad at me. She's like, Melissa, you should have said that the moment we were on that call. So she calls that person back into the call. She's like, tell them what you just told me. And then they were both like, oh my God, like, we would have never thought of that. So pretty much I like pitched it. And now I'm actually gonna like pitch it. So it's just it was just crazy, guys.
Second day. So so when this bitch called me, she's like, bitch, oh my God. Da, da, da. She's like, no, but I want to tell you. And she tells me this. But she's telling me this, like right now, she's telling you guys with enthusiasm. This is not the energy she gave me yesterday. She was like, yeah, and I did this, da, da, da. And then like she would just say, like, I pitched it and then da, 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 da. And I literally was like,
She's like, bitch.
I was like, bitch, wait. And Mely got quiet, like, oh, what the fuck? And I'm like, don't do that. And I just paused.
And I was like, wait, do what?
And I'm like, don't brush over that shit. I was like, it's day fucking 2 and you're already pitching something. I'm like, bitch, how many times have I told you that you need to acknowledge the shit you're doing? And I'm like, this is proof that you are meant for this. Do not second guess yourself. There's a reason you're in that seat. There's a reason that when you were interviewing, people were like, oh my God, your team is genuinely excited.
Yeah.
And you know so fucking, you're new, but you know so fucking much. And I even told her, I go, bitch, please. I'm like, and she was like, yeah. And I'm like, wait. I'm like, I was like, listen to me. I go, promise me with this new role, you got to start letting go of that shit where you would second guess yourself and be like, well, it's not a big deal. No, like, acknowledge these small wins and, like, put yourself out there. I'm like, you got to speak up. I'm like, look, this should prove to you that you know what the fuck you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your time to learn, make mistakes, because you're new and you can play the new card for like about a year.
Yeah.
So I still be playing the new card in my role.
Literally, and I was like telling Patty that's like what my managers like told me. They were
like, listen to her.
Right away. She was like, you gotta, like, this is why, like, you trust me, like, you have a voice. Don't feel like you don't. Like, that is why you're part of this team. You bring in a different angle, something that we don't have. Like, your past experience in your old role, it's different. So I have that knowledge, and then I'm younger. So they're like, that's exactly like what we need. So I was like, okay. And then she mentioned, oh, you just said that. Give yourself, she's like, what you were doing before, you're so quick to answer because you were expected to always, in a way, have an answer, fix it, like, handle it. She's like, now give yourself grace, make mistakes. She's like, I'm still freaking making mistakes. She's like, she's like, you're new. Yeah. But like, lean into that. Like, it's okay. She's like, we're a team. We're here to fix it. We'll fix it together. We'll figure it out together. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, that was like very refreshing to hear. So I was like, okay, that's good. And then like, at least to know that I have that support. And then like when Patty was like telling me all this, like, and I know like it's just very hard for me to like be like, oh yeah, but
I was like,
yeah, because in my head, I'm like, until I see that activation happen, or if it happens, then I'm like, oh, hell yeah. But it's like, no, it's true. It's like, okay, it was just like, that's why I told her too. I was just surprised in myself and proud of myself for even saying it.
Bitch, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have said it. I would, like, the old me wouldn't have said it, but because I was genuinely excited, I'm like, wait, this could be a great idea. We can just leverage what we already have. I was like, hello, like, duh,
yeah.
like,
But I'm glad that, and I told her, I was like, you are so lucky that you are on a team with I go, that speaks volume of your manager.
Yeah.
Because if you were not on a good team, your manager would have been like, oh, good idea. Would have taken your idea as her own. I was like, but instead, she gave you the recognition and was like, Melissa has something to say. Say what you told me, and gave you that space. Because that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
So acknowledge that. And there was something else that we talked about yesterday. Fuck, I can't remember. But it was kind of along the same lines. But there's something that that tell us at work is they always talk about humility and being humble. And it's not in the sense of the way that they explain humility when you're in a new role and developing is you need to be teachable. Like if you always, if someone feels like they can't teach you because you are like, I'll just figure it out by myself, or like you always like behind closed doors are like busting your ass, and then you get all the answers but no one sees like the struggle or the process, then that's not being humble, because they want to see you struggle, they want to see you make mistakes, because it's kind of counterintuitive, because our whole life we've been told like don't make mistakes, especially going from the role you were in, which was more administrative. You were just an executor.
Yeah,
now
like,
in this role you gotta get out of that. Like you are now like
part of the
part
creative,
of the team.
part of the creative and brainstorming, which
Yeah.
is so that's like new, but that's what I've been itching for, which is why I was like, right, it's my time to finally just do what I've been wanting to
But
do.
actually do it, because you're really good at saying you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Fucking do it, bitch, because again, day fucking 2.
Well, that's why I'm like, damn, I'm like, I really like said it. I was like, because usually I wouldn't, so I'm like, but yeah, so
and
I know it's
you
just
have some like opportunities.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's gonna take some time, but I will like try and like
You have
more.
to be conscious of it though.
Yeah, because it's gonna take time. Like again, guys, like you guys know this. Like I'm like hard on myself, not in the way where I'm like, until you see it and make it happen, then like be proud of it. But it's like, no, like, yeah, accept the small wins, as we've talked about here so much. Like accept those small wins because they're huge,
especially in like the careers that we're in. Like you kind of have to, because things move so fast.
Yeah.
So like if you're just like waiting and not showing, because perception is reality, and if people do not see that, maybe inside you have all these ideas, but if they don't see that curiosity, because you're not showing, you're not asking questions, you're not challenging, like that's not a bad thing. And I told her, I was like you bring a new perspective, because that team, they probably have tunnel vision. I go, you have like so much knowledge that they don't even know. I was like, so this is your time to fucking show them. And you already are, bitch.
Period.
I literally told her, I was like, bitch, you should be proud of yourself. But I was like, please. I was like,
come on.
This time you gotta fucking do it.
Yeah.
For you. I told her, I was like, you need to take up that space. I was like, you're given this space, an opportunity, you have a voice, like make that shit known. And you obviously already have like a good reputation, like your network, the way people think of you.
Guys, I was shocked about all of that. Like I knew I had like, like I was networking and had those relationships, but I was shocked. They had to move my did I tell you?
About your desk?
Yeah. They had to move my desk because I was like, that day that I was like in the calls, and it was just funny, like, but I mean, I'm still like in a good area, but they were like, do you want to move desks? I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Because it was outside of like, not towards the elevator, but it was close enough where you like turn the corner and that's my desk. The amount of people that came up to my desk and like, oh my God, you're here. I'm in calls. I'm like, get out, like, hello. And they're over here talking to me. I'm like, oh my God, like every single person that would walk by would stop, like, Melissa, oh my God, finally. And I'm like, guys, I am busy, get away from here. And then towards the end of the day, they were literally like, do you want to move desk? Because, oh my God. And I was like, actually, yeah. So literally just did a switch where then it's the same side, but the next desk over, because they at least have to, they at least have to cross over. But I was like, oh, I was shocked. I was like,
and it's also like fresh, so probably people are like,
yeah, they're super excited. People still, they're like excited. Some people still don't know. I jumped on certain calls. They were like, Wait, what? Like,
Like I
it
missed
was,
something.
yeah, like, because it hasn't been announced to the whole organization just yet.
Still?
No, so it's gonna be like in probably like in like a week or so.
Oh shit.
So like our own like division knows, and my old division, but the whole organization not just yet. Yeah. So,
Mood.
but so it's like it's funny because there's gonna be some stuff, but some more people moving around.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why they're waiting. But yeah, guys. So that was
No, that
my
was like
week.
huge. Like literally, bitch. You already know. Like I think so highly of you, and I'm so proud of you. But I'm
Bitch.
like, this is the time, bitch. You got to step into. Oh, wait. You need to step into that shit because it's very
Yeah.
transformative. I promise
Yeah.
you.
And then again, guys, like this is like what I genuinely love. Like this is what I studied. This is what
Hmm.
I love. So it's like I mentioned in the last episode, but that's like my next step and what I needed to get to where I want to be. So I'm like, oh, fingers crossed, but it's just the beginning and I'm so
That part.
excited.
That
Yeah.
part. Just the beginning.
Yep.
But kind of still in topic,
Mm-hmm.
we mentioned like taking up space
Space.
and on Friday at the like the Hispanic Heritage Soul Cycle ride with Dalia and Alba,
Mm-hmm.
they both talked about how like Soul Cycle is kind of known as like a white thing,
Mm-hmm.
mostly white instructors, not as many people of color. Like instructors, like the people working the desk, there are a lot of people of color, but instructors. So the fact that there's two Latina instructors and they teamed up and did this ride, they were just talking about like, thank you so much. It means so much when you show up and pick our class over like another one. You vibe with us, even um, if you don't even like understand the lyrics, because
Mm-hmm.
Dahlia for the most part only plays music in Spanish, and they were like, we need to take up space,
Mm-hmm.
and like yes, we're a big community, but unfortunately, there's still not a lot of us taking up space in a lot of places that we enjoy, we like basically give money to.
Mm-hmm.
So they both were just like take up space. Like that is so important. And it just made me think about like us and like the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
because that was one thing when we started talking about doing the podcast. Like I remember you were like, bitch, like I was looking and there's not really a lot of Latina podcasters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no. And there is it. It's mainly men
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like non POCs, or if there are POCs, it's again mostly men.
Men.
Now we're seeing more
Yeah.
like Latinas and stuff. But this is your sign to take up space, whether it's at work, at the gym, at home, in your
Yep.
relationship, anywhere. Like take up space and
Yeah.
make sure that you like,
Don't second guess yourself. Be
yeah,
proud of yourself. Like literally.
look in the mirror and fucking say that, bitch. Like,
Yep.
but yeah. And I think that kind of it's like kind of the perfect time to talk about this because it is Hispanic Heritage Month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just like as Latinos, I feel like that's something that we weren't really taught, like to take up space. If anything, we've
Mm-hmm.
talked about this before in like the last season, how our people are like scared people. Like we don't want to draw attention to ourselves. But I feel like that's why there aren't a lot of Latinos that have made it to the top in a lot of areas outside of like like sports.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's because we're always taught like just put your head down, do
Mm-hmm.
the work, like
Like right now, literally when you were saying that, it reminds me of I was just thinking about the Hot Cheeto movie.
mm-hmm.
Because that movie,
Oh my
guys,
god,
if
bitch, I
you have
cried.
not, oh, I was
Flamin'
bawling.
hot.
My dad was like crying as well. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you have not seen it, definitely see it. And
Yep.
that just itself. Like I'm like he literally was
Yep.
like he was a janitor. He didn't care. He was like, like I want to be there. Like I want to voice like my opinions, everything. He picked up the phone
Yeah.
and said, "I need to talk to this person." And like, it's crazy, and it's literally that he believed in himself. His family supported him, and even though it's scary and maybe he failed like a few times or whatnot, like worked out. Like it's crazy.
Trailblazing. And I think you said something You're like, even though he was scared,
Mm-hmm.
and I say this all the fucking time, when you are uncomfortable, means you're growing. If you are not, if you are comfortable and stagnant, if you are comfortable, you tend to just be stagnant because you're not pushing yourself. And I feel like that's true with anything. Like,
No.
even making the right decision for yourself, whether it's whatever, it could be personal, work related, whatever. Making
Mm-hmm.
the right decision is not easy. And I feel like people always say, like, oh, well, it's not easy. Da, da, da. I'm like, no shit. Because it's, you know it's the right thing to do in your heart, but you're scared. And this is your sign. Like, don't be, you can be scared, but still fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not failing if you don't get to you don't get the outcome that you thought you were gonna get.
Yeah, it's
You at least
just.
get that
Mm-hmm.
experience. Like, I'm pretty sure we can both think of times where we tried something and it didn't work. I think the obvious one for me is when I got promoted the first time
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't fucking work.
Mm-hmm.
And I stepped down,
Yeah.
reset,
And
and
now
now it's
look at
working.
you.
Like, it's
Yeah.
fucking working.
Yeah. Like,
Can you
even,
think of a time?
I mean, yeah, fuck, I feel like there's like plenty personal and just career wise, but one of my main things starting the boutique, like, it's like that was like one of the scariest things because one, like, it's a business, like, it's a lot, it's intimidating, but it's like, started it wasn't working out for me for a little bit, it was just too much. I was like, all right, a year off, and then now I'm like, okay, I'm back, and it's like I've learned so much from it.
Mm-hmm.
You grow, and like I still have my people supporting me, like the same people that were there from the beginning now. And was it scary? 100%. Do I think of like what ifs? Yeah, but it's like mentally, like I made that decision for me, and if I would have still been in that headspace, if I wouldn't have stopped, and everything that has happened since wouldn't have happened. So it was the right decision for me in that time. Maybe I wouldn't be where I am now. Maybe I wouldn't have had this promotion, whatever it is, if I didn't take that step, or, to just be like, nope, this isn't working out for me. Let me take a break, focus on myself, and then reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, guys, yeah, like literally it take up space. Like, it's like our culture it's like it's so important. Like, it's just like we have to be out there. Like, it is like
There's so
there.
fucking many of
Yeah,
us.
so many
Like,
of
we
us.
are literally the majority, but
Yep.
still the minority in a lot of like organizations,
Mhm.
which is so fucking sad.
Yeah. But I think it's also because, like you said, people are scared.
Hmm.
They doubt themselves, or they're just like. I also think, like, I'm like, it might be contradicting, but like our within our cultura también, like, people want things quick,
Hmm.
and it doesn't work like that. It doesn't, like,
Bruh.
unfortunately. Like,
Literally, I think about my dad,
yeah, like, it's like
like
they
our
want
parents.
things, like, yeah, like they want things quick. It doesn't work like that. It's like, or because they're old, like old school or old fashioned, like, at this age I already had a, like, no, like,
Okay, you just triggered me. Let's talk about it. Let's fucking talk about it
like, it's
because,
crazy.
okay, I'll bring up like my dad, for example. At my age, I'm not sure if my parents were already married, but my dad like was already like had his own job.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure he already owned the house,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like the cost of living at that
So
time
different.
way cheaper.
Yeah.
Way, like, literally, if I was making the amount of money I'm making today
Ooh.
back then, we'd be in a fucking mansion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But today, no mames, way. Like, that shit's, it's a, it's a lot. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can barely move out into a cardboard box.
Mm-mm.
Like,
No,
bitch,
dead ass. Like, oh my god.
we gon' we gonna
It's
have like floaties at
insane.
the fucking beach. One of those blow up tents
Yeah,
like
and
for
then
parties.
yes, and then we're just gonna live there.
No,
There.
literally, that's what we can afford right
I
now.
know. And we're at the beach. I'm like,
Yet we
we
can get
have it.
coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm like, girl math, I already had that in my Starbucks account.
No, literally. No, but
No, but yeah, like, it's like people want it quick, and it's like we were so recently there's been some like personal stuff happening. We were at the hospital, and it was like all of the family. We were in the lobby, and like we were just talking through, and all of this came up. Like my little cousin Alexa, she's currently going to like Cal State Dominguez. So she's in school. She's like trying to figure it out, and she's changed her major a few times, like everything. And it's like, you know. her parents are like, ah, pero otra vez, or what not. Like, and it's like,
What year? She's a sophomore or a
she's,
freshman?
no, she's a junior.
Oh, okay,
She's
okay.
a junior, and like, but and like the same thing, just thinking old fashioned, and even that, like, it makes her think like, oh my god, like, let me second guess, like, she's second guessing
Mhm.
herself. She's thinking, like, they're like, eso cuánto te va a durar, because she went into psychology, and she starts thinking, she's like, oh my god, maybe like psychology, it's gonna take longer. Like, there's not many like Mexicans doing that and stuff, and she's like, she had her first lecture class, and she was like, I went in there and I was like so like intimidated. I didn't feel comfortable. And that
Oh,
itself like just
yeah.
shows you like
That says a lot.
yeah, like we're like career wise, but even like in school and like stuff like that, it's like no, like you want to do it, you do it. And it's like we're letting these
Prove them
outside,
wrong.
yeah.
That's my favorite thing to
Yes.
do.
And like but it's like within our culture we let the
Within
outside
our
voices.
families,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
crazy.
Like we let those voices like dictate everything or second guess ourselves, which is why I feel like it has that impact on so many
That's why
people.
we have anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I always think of the worst possible scenario. Like, even with work, like, if I
Mhm.
need to prep for a negotiation, and like I get nervous when I have to role play with the person I work with,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Don't worry, like whatever." And I said this in the last episode, like, whatever you say, like, we can get you out of it. And he even said, like, why, like, why is it difficult for you? And I'm like, because literally my entire life, like, whenever like we have an idea, like, right away the first thing my dad says is, well, oh, por favor, like, what if that doesn't work? Or
Mhm.
did you think, they always, or family always lists
Yep.
all the possible negative outcomes. And it's like, well, fuck me, like,
Yeah.
that's like, and I feel like because since I was little, I grew up around that, even if it wasn't directed towards me, family
Mhm.
members or
Hearing
whatever,
that all the time.
I'm like, oh shit, like, they're
Yeah.
right. And I'm constantly like, so it's been a struggle. The last like 3 years has been me trying to rewire my brain to
Yeah.
kind of figure that shit out. But
Yeah.
no, it's 100%. That's what it is.
Yeah, and us constantly doubting ourselves and thinking that maybe I'm not good enough, because when let's even like, I mean, I'll mention my dad. Like, he's super, super supportive, everything. But, I got this promotion. They're both very happy for me. And the first thing, like, he still asks, so now are you gonna try and get your master's so you can like get more, or when are you gonna move? I'm like, I just got the promotion. Like, let me enjoy this win,
And
you know?
also, like, some people, even with the masters,
Yeah.
like, again, it's because they
They
don't
don't understand
know.
that. They're like, oh, masters. And I'm like, dad, even for my career, I don't think I need that at the
Yeah,
moment.
I
Like,
don't
that,
need
I
mine.
don't need it. Like, it's like I'm already here. It's already
Like,
working now. I'm within.
yeah,
Figure that, like,
yes, like, you're already
I
there.
know,
You can work your way up.
up.
That's another thing. Just school in general. I remember when I was applying to schools, um, and like I was applying to a bunch of different schools, some like in different cities,
Mm-hmm.
and my family was like, why are you applying all over there when you can go to like a Santa Monica City college? Like, what's the point? You just want to waste money. And I'm like, first of all, that just tells me how much you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if people have the opportunity to go, why are you putting it in their head
Yeah.
that they shouldn't? Because then that adds guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh shit, like, it is a waste of money. But like, people who, I'm generalizing here,
Mm-hmm.
but like, white people,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're brought up to take up space because historically they've been doing it
Yeah.
regardless of anyone's
Yeah.
fucking feelings or anything. They just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're brought up like truly thinking that they deserve everything and anything. That's why we have some fucking Karens and shit. But
Mm-hmm.
us, on the other hand, we feel like we don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And it's hard when it's like, no, you do deserve it. And
Mm-hmm.
then when people of color, Latinos, get to these places where they're in like decision making positions and they're growing, the ones that do have the trauma and like the voices in their head like us, a lot of the times they fail because, or they
Mm-hmm.
psych themselves out because it's like, either like, oh, I proved my family right. Like, everything
Yeah.
they said that was going to happen is happening. Like, I'm like, what's the point at this point?
Yeah. And then there's some that get even, they feel like entitled because they're like, well, I did it on my own. Like, I had the same hardships as you, so figure it out. So it kind of like,
Yeah.
it's
I
crazy.
feel like you should pay it forward.
Yeah.
Like that's
And that's another
yeah,
thing.
like
Like,
I had it very hard,
uh,
so like why should that's something my dad
yeah.
thinks that way.
Like, that's an, like,
Like yes, I understand you had it really
yeah.
hard, but my thing is like you should always want the next generation to
Mm-hmm.
have it a little bit easier
Yeah.
than you in some regard. Like obviously no one's life is 100% easy
Yeah.
all the time. Like people go through shit, but like if you can eliminate a
Mm-hmm.
huge obstacle that was in your life for your kids, future kids, grandkids, whatever, like
Like,
why
why
wouldn't
not?
you? Like
Yeah.
that's why I always say pay it forward. That's why
Yeah.
since the beginning
Mm-hmm.
when you were still in school,
Mm-hmm.
I would just tell you fucking everything. Like
Yeah.
FYI, this and this, da 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 da. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're progressing so much faster.
Yeah.
Bitch, a year
Yeah.
and you got a promotion.
Yeah, no. And it's funny because that's something that I literally talked to my parents about yesterday. Like, we were just having a conversation, my parents, my grandma, and then I, like, at first I was like, "Oh, okay, it took some time." And then I think about it, I'm like,
No,
"Oh shit,
bitch.
that happened. Like, it happened quick."
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I started thinking about that. I was like, "Oh shit, it happened quick." But again, it's because, like, you had that support. Like, it is like, someone was there pushing you. My manager, my family. But yeah, like, just having that support. And it's like, as we were talking about, like, it's like within our, like Latino culture, just overall, a lot of people like tear each other down. It's
Yeah.
like, why
They don't want to
not?
see you win.
Yeah. And it's like, why are you doing that? Like, we need to take out space, and that's a thing. Like, it's like, mention the names in the rooms, like, everything.
Hmm.
It's like, don't tear each other down. We should all be wanting the best for one
It's
another.
like
Like,
envidia
yeah,
within like
your
the
own,
culture. Yeah.
yeah,
Within families,
yeah.
within like different Latino groups, like
Mhm.
Mexicans
Yeah,
versus whatever, when it shouldn't be
that
that
way.
way. Like if I don't know, again, but it comes from like
Yeah.
generation. Like if that's their mindset,
Mhm.
it trickles down and then it's just ingrained. So it's like a constant competition when it shouldn't be that way. We've
Mm-mm.
talked about this. Like
Mhm.
there's room for
Everyone.
everyone. No two people are gonna have the same output. You could have the exact same education, life experiences, but the way you process it and it impacts you and like cause and effect, like what you put out is going to be completely different.
Different.
We've experienced the same thing. For example, when we lost our abuelito,
Mhm.
it impacted her and it impacted me, but it happened differently.
Mhm.
We coped with it differently.
Mhm.
It changed us go forward differently.
Mhm.
Maybe similar, probably,
But
but
different.
it's still different.
Yeah. But just, be supportive. Like, support one another. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah, but I think that as long as you are, and again, like I think,
I guess
it's
it. Oh, no, I was gonna say. I
go.
guess it goes back to, like, what you said. Like, it's like making those hard decisions for yourself. It's like, if that's not happening around you,
Hmm.
then you're not around the people that you should be around. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
You know.
because it's like the metaphor where it's like you can't grow in the place that you were like planted. So like plants, if you this is not the best example. Pretend this is a plant.
Mhm.
Well, it is, but it's dried. But pretend there's like soil in here and all that. The plant is only gonna grow as much as it can in here. Eventually, it will outgrow this pot, but then it's gonna die because it's gonna have nowhere else to go
Mhm.
unless you put it into a different pot, a larger one, or you put it into like the ground and let it prosper. So when you correlate that to like your life and as a person, you can only grow so much in an environment, and you cannot grow or become the best version of yourself in the environment that has torn you down. So, I was on TikTok, and as one does, and someone was talking about like the guilt that Latino children feel when they move out of their home, because again, like the girl was saying how like her parents were like, why would you waste the money on rent when you can help pay rent here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, first of all, you should be proud that your child wants to move out. Well, if they struggle, that's something that they need to learn. Like, it's gonna help them overall as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then she was talking about like a lot of people, children of color, like minority children, pay rent with their mental health. And yeah, retweet. And they were like, yes, there's like guilt, but when you leave, there's so much like growth and healing that happens. And that's a difficult decision to make,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure there's, when that time comes, that there's going to be turmoil, feelings, and all that stuff. But ultimately, it's going to be the right decision for
You.
you, but it's not going to be an easy decision to make.
Mm-hmm. And then same thing, I've seen that also with like traveling. It's like you get
Mm-hmm.
this guilt when you're like traveling and doing all of this, but even but I was like I was not guilty at all
Oh
when
yeah,
I
bitch.
when I was away,
Wait,
but
was it a girl with black hair
um
talking about this?
I've seen a few of
Okay,
those.
because I saw one that said that, and I was like, I'm not gonna feel guilty when we're in
Yeah, I've
Mexico.
seen a few of those. But yeah, like literally when I was in Europe, I did not feel guilty at all. It did like the only thing I was like it did motivate me to like one day want to take my parents like somewhere, but I like guilty. No, it's like
You're like,
you
this is my vacation from
yeah, I'm
y'all.
like and it's like also like you're like you're working your ass off to make this trip happen, do these
Mm-hmm.
things for you like just because let's say they don't want to go somewhere like why like don't allow that to stop you from doing what you want to do for you like but I guess there is people out there that feel guilty like oh my gosh like I wouldn't be here without my parents yeah like yeah duh
None
like
of us
all of
would.
us yeah
Yeah.
like literally that's how I'm like duh like no one will be here without their parents but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do what you want to do and live your freaking life
Yeah,
but
because then what's gonna happen when your parents aren't here?
yeah
You're gonna be older, and what are you gonna do? Like,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna look back at your life and be like,
Oh my god
I
I didn't
really
do
didn't live my
anything
life
yeah
because I
let them hold me
yeah,
back
I was focused on them.
yeah no 100% but yeah don't feel guilty don't feel guilty do what you got to do for you and that goes for anyone like whether you're Latino or not but it's like don't feel guilty
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, you already know that's been me since day one. Like,
yeah
I just love that now it's kind of like, now that our generation is more connected with like social media, that's being put
true
out there a lot more, because I felt like growing up I was like the only one that felt that way, and I felt like the odd one out in my family. But now it's like everyone talks about boundaries,
mm-hmm.
everyone talks about all of that, and I'm like, I didn't know that's what they were called, but since day one I've been putting up my fucking boundaries.
yeah
Time out. Can we talk about? Have you seen the Itati um drama?
with
Her
her like
prima,
yeah
bro, she went on a rant,
yeah
and essentially she was saying like, defend yourself.
mm-hmm.
She's like, it doesn't matter who it is, defend yourself,
I was oh, yeah go
bitch.
back no finish
Oh
your
my
thought
god,
because
no,
then
but
I'm gonna
that's
laugh
literally what it is though. Like, I get it. I will have respect for my elders, but that doesn't give you the right to just like blatantly disrespect someone because they're younger than you.
mm-hmm.
Like, tampoco no te dejes.
Yeah, no, like I was right now that you mentioned that I was cracking up because Itati had mentioned something about like her and like her tia and her cousin being like putas, and then her literally the tia was like the tia literally was flat. I was like, pues sí, sí me
Yeah.
gusta, y nos gusta el chile y qué, but like so I just thought that part was so funny, and I was also like, you go tia, but all the other stuff I was like good for Itati, like do what you gotta do, like come on. But it was
I'm like, no, see, I took it as like, so why are you getting butthurt that she called you that?
no, yeah, the puta. But I was just like, it was funny. She's like, pues sí, sí me gusta. But, and I haven't seen much about, I literally just saw that, yeah. So I don't know what the cousin said or haven't seen like any of
I
that.
don't know.
But I was like, oh my gosh. I just thought that was fucking hilarious. I was like, oh my
The
God.
comments had me dead. They're like, any tati we trust.
Yeah, no, like, and
Mood.
she's someone that since the beginning, she speaks up for herself. She doesn't
Yeah,
give a
she doesn't
fuck.
care.
Like, it's,
At first, I thought it was like, what's it called? When it's kind of like set up,
mm,
like fake,
yeah,
rehearsed. And then I was like, oh no, she really just be,
yeah. She's
and
like,
she's
got it.
quick.
Yeah.
I would have been like,
I
damn,
was
she
like,
got my
that's
ass.
so funny. It was cracking up at all
Itati,
the
we love
drama.
you. This isn't an Itati Stan
Stan.
channel.
100%. Your mom, like, and her mom, like,
Oh my
she's on
god.
another level.
Bro,
But
it's so funny.
yeah. Yeah, guys, with that said, like, with all of this, like, well, first of all, happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
To all of our Latinos out
Yeah,
there,
to everyone.
remember that wherever you
Badass
are,
bitch.
period, but wherever you are, whether it's in your career, in school, whatever, like take up space. You deserve to be in the position that you're in, or you deserve to accomplish that goal or dream big. Like the sky truly is the limit. Like regardless if you're the first in your family to do something, so what?
Yeah.
That should just motivate you more. Like I want to be the first to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like go for it. And if you don't know how to do something, honestly, the internet is your best friend. Like TikTok, you can look up anything and there's a fucking
Anything.
TikTok for it.
YouTube, anything.
Yeah, anything. So
Anything. Yeah.
don't doubt yourself.
Yeah. Literally that. Don't doubt yourself. And let's celebrate. Like, as Patty's big on that too. Like, and we're not going to say that. Celebrate these wins year round. Like, not just this month, not just like, when everyone's like, oh my God, happy Hispanic Heritage Month. I've seen me in the industry that I'm into, like, this is a time that, you highlight everything at retailers or whatever, but it's like, why not do that freaking year round? So do it for yourself. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of where you come from. And yeah, just be you.
Period. But I think that's pretty much it for today's episode. We were kind of all over the place, but I feel like this was a good conversation.
Yeah.
Because it went from like, I was like, oh shit, that reminded me of this. And you're like, oh, that reminds me of this.
Yeah.
But don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on Spotify, thank you. Make sure to download, follow us on IG.
Instagram.
Everything, interact with us, guys. Please engage. TikTok, please. Everything. And
we'll see you guys in our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.